Good morning and welcome to Georgiaville Village Green, Smithfield's first and only 100% affordable family housing development. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Claire Forton, a director of Gemini Housing Corporation, along with Julie Letty, the executive director of Coventry Housing Associates. We're happy to have this ribbon cutting ceremony in person on this beautiful summer morning. On behalf of the Board of Directors of Coventry Housing Associates and Gemini Housing Corporation, I would like to take a moment to share with you how this beautiful development came to be. Gemini Housing recognized this property as an opportunity to improve the landscape and to build a much-needed affordable housing where families can grow and thrive. A few things that make this location ideal for families are the ballpark, which is right around the corner, the beautiful beach within walking distance on Georgiaville Pond, the excellent school system, and the many economic opportunities that are right around the corner. With our fearless leader who had the foresight and fortitude, Barbara Sokoloff and Associates brought together a unique opportunity for Coventry Housing Associates, who have the expertise in developing and managing tax credit housing, and Gemini Housing, who had the willingness to learn and collaborate. Our team started to take shape. Ron Coniglia and Craig Sutton of Stamp Cooperation were our general contractors who worked tirelessly to build and support the successful affordable housing development. Their ability to overcome the many challenges along the way was remarkable. This property was a brownfield site with over a year of environmental remediation, the hard work of Ransom Environmental, and a grant from Rhode Island DEM. This property became a buildable and sustainable site. We are forever grateful and fondly remember John Robinson of Robinson Design, who was our architect and an expert in designing affordable housing. John designed Georgiaville Village Green to fit into the village setting by designing 37 townhouse-style apartments and 5 single-story accessible apartments, with a playground in the center to create a feeling of community. This has truly been a community-wide achievement. The town of Smithfield has supported this development every step of the way, from the town council to the town offices to the citizens of Smithfield. Georgiaville Village Green is a success because of the support and caring of this community from Rhode Island Housing, the State of Rhode Island Community Development Block Grant, Housing Ministries, Rhode Island DEM, Citizens Bank, National Equity Fund, Rhode Island Department of Commerce, Ransom Environmental, and the local Rhode Island Initiative Support Corporation. The support of Coventry and Gemini's boards are second to none. It has truly been a team effort, and Julie and I send a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you. As a lifelong resident of Smithfield, I am proud to have Georgiaville Village Green in my backyard. And because of everyone's hard work, vision for the future, and perseverance, the residents of Georgiaville Village Green have a place they can proudly call home, raise their families, and live a successful life. Before we get started with our speaking program, I'd like to recognize a few special guests. Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos, State Representative Bernie Hawkins, Harold Trafford, Chairman of Coventry Housing Associates, James Barden, Chairman of Gemini Housing Corporation, Joseph Tadino, Development Attorney, Development Architect, the late John Robinson's family and colleagues, his wife Rita, Tammy Robinson, his sons Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, and Uriel, and his associate, Douglas Hamamafullah. Joe Martella from the Office of Land Revitalization and Sustainable Materials Management, Rhode Island DEM. Terry Gray, Acting Director of Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management. And Tony Lyons, Vice President of National Equities Funds. Thank you, and I'd like to introduce our first speaker, U.S. Senator Jack Reed.
Well, thank you very much, Claire, and let me recognize my colleagues that are here today. Governor McKee, thank you, Governor, for your leadership and your presence. Lieutenant Governor Matos, thank you too. Of course, Congressman David Cicilline, who does so much for us in Washington. Also want to recognize Randy Rossi, the Smithfield Town Manager, Carol Ventura, Rhode Island Housing, Keith Kelly of Citizens Bank, Jeannie Cola, who's the Executive Director of LISC, and Terry Gray, who is the Acting Director of the Department of Environment and Management, and also all the partners, Coventry Housing Associates Corporation, Gemini Housing Corporation, and Robinson Design, who made this day possible. And because of your collective efforts, John Robinson's vision for the former home of the Narragansett Gray Iron Foundry has been realized into 42 beautiful units for working people. So Rita and Raphael and Gabriel and Michael and Oriel and Douglas, his colleague, we offer our deepest condolences for your loss. We celebrate the fact that this beautiful development, in addition to his service in the U.S. Air Force, is part of John's legacy, which still inspires us all. Thank you. And now, 42 Rhode Island families will have a safe, decent, and affordable place to live. And that is quite an achievement. I'm pleased that the federal government was part of this effort, helping to generate more than $8 million of the $11 million used to transform this former Brownfield site into a community, not just homes, but a community. And we can't stop here. We've got to do more. According to the National Low-Income Housing Coalition, Rhode Island is in need of more than 20,000 rental homes that are affordable. So 42 is nice, but we've got about 19,000 plus more to go. And we need to make continual investments in affordable housing. The President has proposed in his jobs plan $213 billion to build affordable housing. That'll put working men and women and families in homes and give other working men and women the chance to build those homes. So I'll continue to do what I can do in Washington to make sure we have the resources here in Rhode Island to get the job done. Thank you very, very much.
Senator Reid. Now I'd like to introduce U.S. Senator, David Cicilline.
He got demoted. Good morning. Thank you, Claire, and thank you for the promotion. I'm delighted to be here with all of you on this really exciting ribbon-cutting ceremony and to see these beautiful new homes. And I want to begin by recognizing our senior senator, Senator Reid, who, as he was mentioning all of the housing money that comes to Rhode Island, we fight for it on the House side, but we know that we have our senior senator who is sort of Mr. Housing in the Senate, but also a very important member of the Appropriations Committee who makes certain those resources are there. So thank you, Senator Reid. And thank you, Governor McKee, for your great leadership. It's good to be with you and Lieutenant Governor Matos and Randy Rossi, the town manager here in the town of Smithfield, Carol Ventura from Rhode Island Housing, Keith Kelly from Citizens Bank, the extraordinary Jeannie Cola from LISC, who seems to be at every good housing celebration, and Tony Lyons, Vice President of National Equity Fund. This is an example, again, how these projects don't come together without lots of people, lots of pieces, and the collective effort and support of all the people and the housing development corporations that Jack mentioned. So thank you to everyone who's been part of this. I particularly want to acknowledge the late John Robinson, the development architect for this project, and had the pleasure of meeting his widow just a moment ago, who served honorably for 6 years in the U.S. Air Force. And we should just say thank you to John for his service and his contributions to this beautiful project at Georgiaville Village Green. As Senator Reid mentioned, and we all know, affordable housing, workforce housing is a really big issue all across our country, but particularly in the Northeast and especially here in Rhode Island. And I think in many ways, COVID-19 and the economic catastrophe that came as a result of it really laid bare long-standing inequities in access to safe and affordable housing, and also highlighted how vital access to stable and adequate housing is so critical to the health and well-being of families and communities. And, the affordable housing crisis is growing, and we need to invest even more now to be sure
that we make housing available to families who need it. And based on a 2019 analysis, the average two-bedroom apartment rents, a family in Rhode Island who had an income of $50,000 enabled households in only three municipalities to be able to afford housing. And currently, Rhode Islanders would have to earn $21.16 an hour, nearly double the state minimum wage, to afford a fair market two-bedroom apartment in those communities. So we have a tremendous challenge here in Rhode Island. And contributing to it significantly is the shortage of housing stock, which is why today's celebration is so important. And as the Senator mentioned, we're fighting hard as a delegation to be sure that the investments in housing are included in the final infrastructure bill. The President has made it a priority. Housing is a key part of community infrastructure, and we're going to work really hard to make sure that that happens. So this will give us an example to bring back to Washington to show what happens when people work together. When you take a brownfield site, you remediate it, and you create real opportunities for many, many families. And all of these units are powered by solar energy, which is just extraordinary and another great thing. So congratulations to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Cicilline. I would like now to introduce Governor Dan McKee.
Thank you, Claire. And thank you to anybody that was responsible for having a tent over our head today. I have my 50 sunscreen on, but isn't it great to be in Rhode Island during the time when we're reopening our economy and celebrating, developments like we are here today. So I do want to thank Senator Reid, again, Congressman Cicilline, not only for their help in advance of the pandemic for a project like this, but also during and our recovery. So thank you to both the Senator and the Congressman for their extraordinary leadership for the state of Rhode Island. It certainly gives us hope. I do want to put my mayor's hat on for a moment and thank Randy Rossi, along with the council, for their efforts to make this happen as well. I do believe that this housing issue is a 39 city and town project. I think it's one where we all take our share, each and every community, and those numbers that Senator Reid was talking about, they become a reality. We need to make sure that every community participates in this effort. And Randy, thank you to Smithfield for doing just that. Not only with participating with the regional vaccinations that was phenomenal here in Smithfield, and it gives us the opportunity to all be here without our masks. So Smithfield is that leading community, and it takes leadership, and leadership starts at the top. So thank you so much. These units at Georgiaville Village Green are for individuals and families earning less than 60% of the area median income, while 5 units are reserved for those earning less than 30% of the area median income. It can't be emphasized enough how important that is. Since I became governor, we've attended ribbon cuttings in Providence and other communities, and I was just at one last week on Broad Street. As great as those projects are, and they most definitely are, we are reminded today is a statewide issue. The need for affordable housing isn't just focused in Providence or on our urban corridors across the entire state, as I just mentioned, all 39 cities and towns. Today's ribbon cutting also marks the end of one era and the beginning of another. The site, as was mentioned, was an old mill and repurposed, demolished by a previous owner and qualified as a brownfield site. And the remediation, thank you, Terry, and to those at DEM who helped participate in the remediation. Again, as a mayor, I knew how complicated that was. So thank you for your leadership there. And also, it was recognized as a 2021 Rhode Island Smart Growth Award as an outstanding smart growth partner. So thank you. So I'll just end it with that. But reducing barriers is one of the most important things we can do as elected officials today. And we have our ups and downs in the state, but this is one of the ups. And we're here today to celebrate the elimination of so many barriers. Barriers to housing, barriers to jobs, barriers to public transportation. Thank you all for having me here today.
Thank you to Governor McKee. I would like to now introduce Smithfield Town Manager Randy Rossi.
Thank you, Claire, and definitely Claire stating she's a Smithfield resident. We are blessed to have Claire. She is just a fantastic resource for affordable housing and to the town as a whole. So I'd actually like to have you give a round of applause to Claire for that. It's definitely a blessing to be up here today with Senator Reid, Congressman Cicilline, Governor McKee, Lieutenant Governor Matos, and Representative Hawkins, and the whole team that's up here that helped make this beautiful facility and community come to fruition. It couldn't have been done without, I gotta say, give credit to my planning team here in the town of Smithfield and the town council for doing our end to make this happen. So this is the first of many, hopefully. As we were talking before we started today, this is going to be the starting point in the model to help build on affordable housing here in the town of Smithfield. The nice benefit of having it is 100% affordable. There's no offset. You know, there's no offset to the additional housing in the community. So we need more of 100% affordable units so that we can get to that 10% as our first goal, and then continue beyond that to make workforce living a reality. So I want to thank everybody that's involved in this, and just to have me be a part of this, and just wish everyone a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Carol Ventura, who's the Executive Director of Rhode Island Housing.
Everybody's way too tall. Claire, Julie, congratulations. Congratulations to you, to the town, your partners, on an award-winning development. Here we are. Around a year ago, we were planning the ribbon cutting for Georgiaville, and suddenly the world changed. Fast forward 14 months, and we're not only celebrating construction completion, we're celebrating the creation of a community. Because in that time, those 14 months, that's what really happened here. Families moved in, kids made friends in the neighborhood, and we can see how the vision of the development team and the town has come to fruition. This isn't about 42 new apartments. It's not about the buildings. It's the opportunity to live in a safe, affordable home in a terrific community. It's about a future. Thanks to Governor McKee and other state leaders, we are now poised to replicate this development across the state. We have a housing bond that's been approved by the voters, a dedicated funding stream along with other housing resources to build affordable homes. Thank you, Governor, for making housing a priority. And our congressional delegation has and continues to provide an array of funding resources to the state, which serves as the backbone to all of our development efforts. I imagine that every affordable development preserved or created across the state of Rhode Island has benefited from the hard work of our delegation. Senator Reid, Congressman Cicilline, thank you for all that you do for Rhode Island, Rhode Islanders, and affordable housing. While we celebrate this wonderful development today, we also mourn the loss of a colleague. I want to extend my condolences to the family of John Robinson. John was an architect for this development, and I had the pleasure to work with John over the years on many developments like Georgiaville. We'll be raising a flag today to honor John and his incredible contribution to the design of buildings and communities across our state. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Our next speaker is Keith Kelly, Rhode Island Market President of Citizens Bank.
Thank you, Claire, and good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you today in person, celebrating an exciting new beginning for the residents who make Georgiaville their new home. As Claire said, my name is Keith Kelly, president of Citizens Bank here in Rhode Island, and we are so thrilled to provide the financing for this project, which is the first of its kind in Smithfield and provides modern, affordable homes for 42 Rhode Island families. At Citizens, our clients inspire us, so I'd like to congratulate all the partners, workers, and supporters who did so much for Georgiaville this past year and made this a reality despite the challenges of the pandemic. We aspire to serve as a trusted advisor to our clients so that they will have the confidence to pursue greater goals such as the development of this wonderful project. We work tirelessly to help people achieve their goals, to help businesses become stronger, and to help communities prosper. As Rhode Island continues to grow and succeed, we know how important it is to provide affordable housing to state's residents. Investing in our home, state, and our communities where we live and work is very important to us at Citizens. This is the type of investment that helps strengthen communities so everyone has a better chance to reach their potential. Again, in closing, I'd like to congratulate all the residents and to be among the first to welcome you home. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. I would like to please call Jeannie Cola, Executive Director of LISC Rhode Island.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Is this not a fabulous day? I have to say thank you to our congressional delegation, Senator Reid, Congressman Cicilline. We are so fortunate to have leadership in Washington that understands its community, that cares about its community, and that brings resources to the community to get it done. So thank you for your work in Washington. To our new governor, Governor McKee, thank you so much for putting housing as a priority. It is, as you can see, a great investment. So thank you for your leadership. And Randy in the town of Smithfield, this is what happens when communities welcome the housing that it needs. So thank you for your leadership in making this happen. Wish we could clone you throughout. Yes. Would be fabulous. We'll take them on tour. We'll take you on tour for sure, but we can do this. When we have all the right people together and we have the opportunity and we have the resources, we can do this. We need to do this. We should do this. This is what opportunity looks like. I was saying earlier, before we got started, that I have a child that's still living at home because she hasn't found the right opportunity to move out and to find a place that she can afford to live. Thankfully, she's a good kid and she can stay a little bit more. But, you know, we have to provide that opportunity for our individuals and families within our communities. It is so important for growth. I look around and I think, why wouldn't every community welcome this? Why wouldn't every community want this opportunity? I can't say more. So on a very hot day, I will leave you with that. We are always proud to be the first money in. We're looking forward to the next deal and the next deal and the next deal. We'll be there with the checkbook to put the money in. That's right. We're there. We want to see more and more and more. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate it very much. And to my colleague, Tony Lyons, who's in the crowd from the National Equity Fund, he works with the local office every day to make sure that there are resources available to invest in Rhode Island. And so we're very grateful to have partners like that. So thank you, Tony, for that support. And thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you, Jeannie. I would also like to take a moment just to recognize Brenda Clements from Housing Ministries in Rhode Island. Thank you. All right. Thank you all. We'll now have the dedication for the late John Robinson of Robinson Design, Development Architect. If the family could please join us. And Doug, yeah, absolutely, Douglas. last 20 years, Julie and I have had the privilege to work with John Robinson, the development architect for Georgiaville Village Green, in the creation of over 190 units of affordable housing. John could just take a piece of property and envision not just the structure of the proposed property, but the eventual livelihood of the families who would call this place their home. His creativity was second to none, and the values learned from his experience will not be forgotten. John also served honorably in the Air Force for 6 years. We lost John unexpectedly in February of this year, and we would be remiss not to recognize his legacy here. With us today is John's wife Rita, his 4 sons Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, and Uriel, and his business associate Douglas. And I'd like them to come forward, so they've already come forward. And we will place a plaque in perpetuity at the Georgiaville Village Green. With us today, here with us today is former State Commandant Marine Corps League Jane DePatula. Jane will raise the flag for us. Those who are able, please stand. Join us now for the ribbon cutting.